listeners. Welcome to Plano's Political Pitbull Podcast. I am Esther.
And I'm Ruth.
And today we're going to talk about some things that went on in Plano and some things that went on in the national news. But first, our sponsor is Southwest Pain Management. Southwest Pain Management takes care of most chronic pain without pain pills. Their goal is to get you back to doing the things you love. They are also the world's leading long COVID experts. Dr. Groisman sees people from all over the world to treat their long COVID. Southwest Pain Management is in Plano. Please go to their website, reliefbeginshere.com. That's reliefbeginshere.com to see all that they do. So, first up, this week has been a horrible week. And on September the 10th, the founder and owner of Turning Point USA was assassinated. And it was videoed and put on the internet for all to see. I made the mistake of accidentally clicking on the video and seeing how he died and how gruesome it was. I could have lived without seeing that. And actually, I had no idea how big this kid was. He was 31 years old. I knew of him. I had seen him on cable news, seen him on a few reels here and there, saw him at the Republican convention. But he was, if I were to equate him to somebody that my generation would know, he was the Rush Limbaugh of the youth. He had 41 million followers on social media platforms. He had his own podcast that was hugely popular. And he would go to college campuses to show a different point of view from what they were learning in their classes. And he started doing this when he was just 18 years old. And he started out talking about freedom, capitalism, the horrors of socialism and communism, and how wonderful this country is. As he got older, he started to talk about his faith as a Christian, and he almost was like a little evangelist, proselytizing about God and Jesus. And he would tell young people to go to church, to get married, to have children, to work hard, to be the best they can be. And he helped get Trump elected by turning out the youth for the Republicans. And he was also a friend to Israel and the Jews. And he strongly believed in respectful debate. And when he went to college campuses, he would tell people who disagreed with them to come up to the front of the line of the microphones first, because he wanted to talk with people who disagreed with him. He didn't want to have an echo chamber. He went on podcasts of hosts who disagreed with him. He went, for example, on Gavin Newsom's podcast. He went on the Bill Maher show. He believed that once we stop having genuine conversations with one another, things go bad. And I also didn't realize how close he was to so many people in non-traditional media. He was friends with Glenn Beck, Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro, Ben Ferguson, Dave Rubin. There's somebody we know, Alex Stein. He is actually friends with Alex Stein. And he knew many elected officials. Ted Cruz, obviously the president, and the Trump family were very close to him. And he was also close with many people on Fox News. If any of you watched Fox News this week, you saw anchors just crying because they had said they knew Charlie from when he was 18 years old, just starting out. Glenn Beck was in tears on the Megyn Kelly podcast when they had heard that Charlie had passed. So if you're a conservative out there, it's probably been a rough week for you. Now, we here at Plano's Political Pitbull did not always agree with everything that Charlie believed. Clearly, Ruth and I disagree with him about one very large issue, Jesus and being the Messiah.
That's not, that was never a discussion.
Well,
what are you talking about?
So we're Jewish. Charlie was very Christian.
That wasn't...
He used to proselytize how Jesus was the Savior and how, following Christ and talking about Jesus.
He's Christian. No one ever cared about that. That was not one of the biggest debates.
Well, he debated that on Bill Maher.
Imagine this household.
Yes, not in this household. But I'm just pointing out that we didn't always agree with him.
That was not one of the things.
On that, it was a really big one for him. I mean, that would. But my
You're brushing past aside his abortion beliefs. We didn't necessarily agree with. We didn't necessarily agree with his ideas on women. Some of the social issues.
So the reason why I didn't bring that up was because we were only seeing small snippets of things he said. I, since then, have got to see more of the whole picture and context, so I don't want to opine on those things. I know he was a faithful Christian. He believed Jesus Christ was the Messiah, the Savior, all that.
Those points were one of the... I know, but those points were one of the big things that people had a problem with him. Some people a lot of people criticized his way of debating. Those were the big things that people had a problem with him, of which led to this hatred.
Well,
so you're brushing past it, and it's kind of brushing past the issues of what led to what you're leading up to.
I don't know why, and nobody knows why the shooter went and killed him. What I am trying to say is we didn't always agree with everything he said. And obviously, one of the major things in his life was his faith in Jesus. And I'm trying to say that we firmly believe that he had every right to preach and speak his truth and what he believed, no matter what it was, whether it was on abortion or trans or roles of women, whatever the case may be. We didn't always agree with him, but he had the right to say it and to speak his truth. Violence is never the way we should deal with speech or views we don't like. The way you deal with speech you don't like is with speech you do like. That's my point.
I know.
And I couldn't, I wasn't getting there.
Well,
You're just trying to get there.
Is his religious values of like, oh, he believes in Jesus, he was preaching and we don't. That's like the lowest of the totem pole of issues that you could have made an example, which makes your point stand on flimsy ground.
I disagree, because for him, that was the center of his life. Just like Judaism for us is a huge part of our life.
But now, I could care less about anybody else's religious values.
That's wonderful. That's great. Yes, there were other things that he said that we didn't agree with, but I don't know about you.
And I also never heard anyone ever complain about him loving Jesus.
I have. He used to go and he used to debate atheists. They actually used to come, the kids, the college students used to come, and they used to talk to him about the Bible and about God and about Jesus. And they used to try to poke holes in his beliefs. So yeah,
I just don't think that's what
I did.
People hated about him.
I don't know. You know, they hated him for different reasons. I would hazard a guess. I haven't talked to them. I certainly haven't talked to the shooter. You know, and we're not going to say his name. But I don't want to get into all he said, because I don't know all he said. I haven't watched every single solitary second. I maybe watched all of 15 minutes of things he said. I've seen him on cable news. But really, like I said, I did not know him that well. And I don't take a lot of credence to small sound bites, small little clips that are edited, you know, and make him look like he's this horrible human being, when the other stuff I've seen is contrary to that. Yeah, there are people who said, well, why is he going to college campuses? You know, these kids aren't sophisticated. These kids don't know how to debate. Well, if they were voters, he was pretty much the same age as them for a very long time. He started doing this when he was 18. And he didn't go to college. He was self-taught. And these kids think they know everything. They don't, obviously.
Nobody knows everything.
They don't get to have deep...
Nobody knows everything.
Right. They don't get to have conversations with their professors. Their professors are up there teaching stuff that we wouldn't necessarily agree with on capitalism and socialism. And if these kids try to say anything, they're shot down. And not only are they shot down, but they are potentially punished for their views with their grades. So at least he was trying to give them a space to talk to one another and converse with one another and hear different ideas. And that's the point. It's important to hear different ideas. You know, I would hope that you guys don't just listen to us. I hope you listen to other podcasts and get different points of view and do your own homework. What I want to say about this, and I don't know if
and also and I know you're trying to get to a point. Maybe I'm going to kind of lead into what you're going to say.
Okay.
And also for those you disagree with, I hope that it doesn't become at such a rate that you hold so much hatred in your heart that you will celebrate someone's death.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because at that point, you've lost the argument.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For me. Nobody deserves to be shot. Nobody deserves to die.
Right.
Just because they were speaking their mind.
Exactly. To harm or kill somebody or someone you disagree with is exactly what Mussolini and Stalin and Hitler did. It is what fascists, socialists, and communists do. And I find it ironic that the killer of Charlie Kirk thought Charlie was the fascist. We know this because on one of the unused bullets, the killer wrote, "Hey, fascist, catch!" Exclamation point. That is some sick stuff. But the killer thought Charlie was a fascist, and I've heard people say that they thought he was a fascist. But the killer used fascist tactics to kill someone he thought was a fascist. I just see a big problem with that. That just makes utterly no sense to me. I think the word fascist is being used incorrectly by people.
It always has been.
And I feel like we should do a show on what a fascist is, what a communist is, what a socialist is, the actual full definitions. We normally talk about it from an economic standpoint because each of those things have economics in them.
Yeah, because even when I was in college and I was taking an economics course, I brought it up to my professor that what he was teaching was wrong. I did it in private. I didn't do it in front of the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
But I went up to him privately, and I told him that, because I think it was the book said like Hitler was an example of a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought up to him that this is incorrect. Hitler was not a fascist. He was a socialist. It's in the name Nazi. Socialist is in the name.
Mm-hmm.
And he agreed with me. But then he also disagreed with me. He was like, yes, you're right, he was a socialist, but we're not looking at it from that viewpoint. And I was just kind of like, but this is an economics course. I was very confused, and I wasn't sure how to respond to what he was saying, because it was just kind of all sorts of confusing.
Yeah.
But, he was the professor. He was the teacher. Okay, I'll trust you. You're the one leading the class. I can't stop you.
Yeah. And then you came home to me and were like, what? I was like, yeah, no, that's totally wrong. From an economics perspective, Hitler was a socialist. I mean, even this is what I mean. Like they're not going to get as much clicks or likes or views if they actually go to a college campus and start having gatherings and teaching this. The stuff that people say on trans and abortion and all kinds of cultural issues, which that's not my thing. I leave that to other people. I rather stick to money, personally.
The social stuff drains her.
Yes, I'm just like, somebody else take that from me. I want to talk about cash and economics.
Because that's cold, hard facts.
Exactly. Exactly.
You got no gray areas in that.
Yeah. So it's not going to get the views on YouTube, okay? And the polarization, unless maybe you're Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders versus
hardcore communists.
Yeah. But they really need to to teach what these terms mean. The fact that you're in an economics class and he goes, well, that's not the viewpoint we're coming from. There is no viewpoint here. We're talking about a textbook definition.
I was so confused.
And see, you're the student. You didn't have the band of knowledge or authority to say, hold on, professor. Let's go through this. This is an economics class.
Yeah, but now I could say, and hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
Now I could say, and I wish I could have said it back then, that the reason why people associate Hitler with fascism is because of his associations with Mussolini, who founded fascism and had a fascist state.
Exactly.
Because he took so many ideas from Mussolini and implemented them, people think he was a fascist. But in reality, their economics were completely different.
You know what? They never get confused.
They were both nationalist, but they were not both fascist.
No, they were not both fascists. You know what people do not get confused about? Communism. That they seem to understand. Like, they'll never call a communist a fascist, even though Stalin had extreme violence, killed millions of people, starved the Ukraine.
I think it's because communism is so, it's the furthest you can get. It's so extreme that it kind of is in its own camp. Whereas socialism and fascism, you can get kind of confused. They're very close together, even in economic definition.
Yes. So maybe one day.
As well as the people, again, Hitler and Mussolini, they're the big ones.
Yeah.
They were so close together in their tactics that you get confused.
They were on the same side, too.
Yes.
So maybe one day when it's slow day in Plano in Texas, we'll do an episode on that. So you can disagree with somebody and you do not have to hurt them. And Charlie was the total opposite of a fascist. Because a fascist, they don't debate. They don't have open discussions about complex issues. If they disagree with you or with someone, they beat you up. They destroy your property. They kill people. That's how they deal with people who disagree with them.
That's the typical, that's the typical process.
Response.
Well, no. The
procedure.
Yes, that's the typical procedure. Like, think of the brown shirts.
Yeah, the brown shirts and Mussolini's black shirts.
Yeah.
They went and they literally beat up Mussolini's opponents and killed them in some cases. And
the point was not for debate, the point was to silence.
Exactly. That is the opposite of what Charlie wanted.
It was all about control.
Yes. Well, exactly. The really disgusting thing that I am seeing is how some people who disagreed with him, Charlie, are acting after his death. They are celebrating his death. One woman posted to social media, "Glad he died." Another one said, "Good, one less Nazi." There's countless examples of that.
I've seen this way too many times of like, it started with Trump and like the assassination attempts. It started even back in 2017 during his inauguration, where at school, I had people in my class who were watching the inauguration. And no, we weren't even watching the inauguration. We were waiting for our teacher to come into class because I think we were early. And they were saying, and my classmates were saying, I hope he gets shot. And I was looking at them like they were insane. And I was like, that is the complete opposite of what we've always been taught.
And this...
Because this was a Jewish school.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It started back then that I was seeing it. But then, yeah, you had, like, you know, Trump's assassination attempts, and each time you had people, like, being, like, good. I wish that they'd actually killed him, or, like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wishing his death.
Yes.
Which is just horrible. And now you have this person who was not a politician. He was simply a political activist, a person who was outspoken, was apparently very popular. And
very popular.
He got shot, and people are celebrating his death too.
It's despicable.
And it's disgusting. And there's something that not many people are talking about, and it's his kids. And when I first heard about this, one, I was shocked that it happened. Two, the next thing that came was his kids.
Yeah.
All I could think about was his young kids who are no more than 5.
Yeah, the daughter is 3. Son is, I thought, I had heard 4, but the wife, Charlie's wife made a statement, and she said her daughter was 3, and I heard the son was 1.
Yeah. At such a young age, you lose your father. And you're going to have to grow up without him, and they're not going to remember him.
Yeah.
Because they're so young.
Yes.
They're going to grow up, and they're eventually going to not even remember his face.
Well.
Except through pictures. Like, you know, except through pictures.
Right. Yeah.
And only remember his voice through videos.
Yes.
That's horrible.
Yes. I was told that his wife was there. I had heard that his children were there when he got killed, but apparently that was inaccurate. I don't think his children were there, and thank God his children were not there, to my knowledge. I really hope they weren't there. And
I feel like people aren't talking about it enough, that now these kids have to grow up without a father. Their mother she's now a single mother and grieving and having to try and take care of these young kids as well as grieve, while her children are probably also grieving in their own ways. I mean, it's just horrible. And then you have people who are celebrating his death and not even giving the family a second glance.
Yeah.
First glance.
No, it's horrific. And we do not celebrate the death of any life. And actually in the Talmud, and the Talmud is a Jewish text, it's mostly writings about rabbis who are arguing back and forth with one another on what the Bible means, or the Torah, first 5 books of the Bible. So in the Talmud, it is written, to kill one person is to destroy an entire world. And the reverse is also written. To save one life is to save an entire world. And this is because you are not just saving or killing that one person, but all the future descendants of that person.
That's not why I don't celebrate people's deaths, though, even if I don't agree with it. Even if, like, in the moment I said that I hated them, which I don't really hate anyone that much, to the point where I would wish death on anyone. And that's because, not because the Talmud says it, but because I actually have empathy.
Yes.
And I would never wish death upon somebody because I know that person has people who care about them.
Yes.
And they do have a place in the world. And while you may disagree, there are people who agree. And maybe there are some points that they're making that are good points, and then other points that are bad points.
Yes.
But the point of debate is to debate those points. And the only way to combat bad, quote-unquote, bad speech is with more speech.
Yes.
Not with a gun to their head.
Yes. Or any weapon. Well, obviously,
And the fact that we're losing so much empathy is just like our culture is just like a sign of culture dying.
We are losing a lot of our humanity. You know, here's another example for you from our sacred texts. So there is a story in the Talmud about the crossing of the Red Sea. The Red Sea opens and the Jews walk on dry land to get away from the Egyptians. And when the last Jew had crossed, the sea closes and drowns all the Egyptians that were chasing them. And the angels and the Jews began to sing praises for the drowning of the Egyptians. And God rebukes them, saying, my creations are drowning, and you are singing? And the point is, the death of any human is a cause for sorrow, not celebration, even if those dying are your enemy.
Yeah, and to be fair, they were celebrating because they felt free, because these people who were hurting them and oppressing them for 400 years, they were finally free from them.
Yes.
So that's why they were celebrating, but then God's like, whoa, hold on a moment. This is not a time for celebration.
Right.
People have just died.
Yes. So when you're celebrating, or those who are celebrating the death of one of God's children, needs to really look in the mirror and ask, why don't they value human life? And I think we have come to a time where we do not see each other as human beings with unique characteristics and a soul and children of God. And when that happens, you lose your humanity.
You don't even need the children of God part. You can just, another living creature.
Yes. A human
a
with
human being.
Inalienable rights. One of them is life.
A human who has a life.
I
don't know why people can't put aside their own
differences.
Yeah.
Disagreements.
I understand he was polarizing. I understand there are people who did not like his ideas, but that's no reason to hate him, his guts, to the point where you are gonna celebrate that he's dead, and not even take a single moment to be respectful to the people who cared about him.
And let's face it,
at the very least, you can maybe not care that he died, okay, but don't post on social media celebrating. That is so disrespectful.
They didn't even know him. They never sat down with him. How in the world? I often ask this to people who hate Trump with a passion. I'm like,
I can't
why
understand how you could hate someone so much.
do you hate him? You've never met the man. He's never done anything physically to you. Charlie had no political power in the sense that he was not a politician. He couldn't make a law. But he had a powerful voice and he had opinions. And yes, some people agreed with him. Some people changed their mind on certain things.
And if you believed he was a danger, his ideas were dangerous, then you combat it with speech of your own. And people were.
Yeah.
You had people who were combating his speech with speech of their own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that wasn't enough.
I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't enough people combating it. So maybe just, there needs to be more.
Exactly.
Go on and do that.
And even the people who met him, like Bill Maher, like Gavin Newsom, thought he was a very nice person. They just disagreed with him on certain things.
But they actually met him.
Yes. And that brings me to a poll that was taken by the Network Contagion Research Institute and Rutgers University. They did a poll. Now, I haven't read the entire report yet and looked deep into the numbers. I'll just give you the summary. They asked, is it ever justified to murder a political leader? 41.16% of Democrats said yes at some level. 29.11% of Republicans said yes. The good news is, I guess, 58.84% of Democrats said it is never justified to kill a political leader. And 70.89% of Republicans said never. I want to see why there's such a big difference between Republicans and Democrats. That's scary to me.
I think some of that might be because of dictators, again, Hitler, because that's always who everyone thinks about first. If there's a common hypothetical of if you could go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby, would you? And people often would say yes, because of all the atrocities he did later.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm. Now, they went deeper. I did read a little bit, and they asked about Elon Musk. Would it be okay to kill Elon Musk? I don't remember the percentages of that, but there were people who said yes, it'd be fine to assassinate him. It'd be fine to assassinate Trump. It's fine to blow up Teslas and destroy Tesla dealerships. That should be 100% never. There shouldn't be anybody saying, oh yeah, it'd be fine to kill Elon Musk.
I don't even understand the logic behind that, of where you justify that, because again, I feel like some of it is coming from the massive dictators that committed a bunch of genocide, but these people have not done nearly to that level.
They haven't done anything like that.
Yeah.
So I
don't know why we're inflating.
Understand. Elon Musk is a business owner. He worked in the administration for 100 days? Not even? he had zero power, too. It's not like these cuts. He could have, said, okay, we're going to cut this, we're going to cut that. And everyone was just like, yeah, fine. He took these to the departments, and the department said, okay, we'll look. And sometimes they agreed, and sometimes they didn't.
He was like an advisor.
Yeah, he had no power. And yet, there are people out there who want to kill him.
I think that's because he supported Trump.
So now, it's not just okay to kill political leaders. It's okay to kill political leaders and their supporters. We have gone off the rails then, if that's where we.
There is a reason that the term Trump derangement syndrome exists.
Mm-hmm. Well, we send our prayers to the Kirk family. As I said, he leaves behind a wife, a 3-year-old daughter, and a 1-year-old son. And we wish them...
Like, I feel so bad for them.
Yes, we wish them healing of mind, body, and soul. All right, moving on to a topic I much prefer to discuss.
Yeah, something a little lighter, please.
Yes.
Maybe not so sad.
Yes. Is Plano and the budget and the tax rates. So, on September the 8th, the Plano City Council sadly passed the budget and the tax rate. Now, it was a little interesting.
I said I didn't want something so sad.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. So...
Not that we didn't see it coming.
Yeah. It was... here's the really sad part. Only one person spoke.
Like at all?
At all. Against it. Only one lone citizen.
Wait. Spoke at all or spoke against it?
No, there was only one person who signed up to make comments and all.
Was against it.
And was against it. Happened to be against both all budget and the tax rate increase. That was the depressing part for me.
Speakers have been declining more and more over the past years.
Yeah. So Rick Horn on the budget vote, he said, we spent a long time on the budget. Our biggest cost is labor. We are mindful of incidentals like dinners, clothes, and we try to keep them under lock and key. So, what am I saying about the clothes? So, they get $1,000 budget for apparel, the city council.
What apparel?
So, they get these polo type shirts, and at the price, I'm wondering if they are actually real polos made by Polo with embroidered Plano City Council or Plano City of Excellence. You should see the look on her face. This is the time when I wish we had video.
Yeah, I'm much more expressive in my face than I am in my voice.
Because the face she's making is like, what the heck?
Well, because, workplaces, tend to have, you'll have the
uniform
company shirts or uniforms.
Yeah.
You have that at my workplace. I just got it. I just got a new one.
That's nice, but I don't think,
especially because there's only 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would have cost them $1,000.
Yes, they budgeted $1,000 for apparel. That is, if you're going to do the math, that is $125
Each. How expensive are these polos? $125 for a shirt?
Yeah. $125 for a shirt.
That is a ripoff. What are these? What is this from the actual? Like you said, is this from like the actual like whole company or something?
I don't know. I'm a member of an organization. We got monogrammed shirts, $25 a shirt. Okay, and we paid for our own shirts. These people can pay for their own clothing. We do not need to pay for their clothing.
They also don't need to get such expensive clothing.
Exactly. They'll wear them once a year at the budget workshop.
Okay, I'm sorry. $125 for a shirt is not worth it in the first place. But second of all, $125 for a shirt you're only going to wear once a year is definitely not worth it.
I don't know if they wear it other places, but if they're going like to a festival or somewhere where they're going to be representing the city, but you do have the pin. I'll be happy to give them their little Plano, pin. But no, I'm not. There are companies, there are businesses who do not pay for their employees' uniforms. I gotta pay for your shirt? No, thank you. I also figured out the dinners. This is gonna kill you. And you wonder why I'm so upset about dinner? So they budgeted $12,000 for dinner. $12,000 a year for their dinners. Now, there's 8 of them.
Right.
They meet twice a month.
Okay.
Do the math. $62.50 per dinner per council member.
That's a lot.
What the heck are they eating? Because it sure is not pizza.
I know food prices have gone up.
Oh, come on.
But that's a little... Where are they ordering from?
I have no idea. I figured maybe they were getting pizza or maybe they were getting Chick-fil-A. No. No. $62.50. I think I could get steak for less than that.
For one person.
One person. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to move on to what Vidal said. So Vidal actually said he would not vote for the proposed tax increase. This surprised me. He said with the cost of living rising, raising taxes to the max, 0.4406 cents, is not something I can support. He believes in more of a stair-stepped approach. Like, I don't want to raise them all at once, but I'm going to raise them a little bit over time. No, I disagree with that. But
why is that any different?
It's just not all at once. It's like we're gonna eat you one bite at a time. We're gonna nip you slowly so you don't feel it.
Oh, so we're gonna trick you into not feeling the fact that we're taking more and more money from you. So you're not so mad at us.
Yeah, it's like, so you don't know you're boiling to death in the pot of water. So
like that's kind of more evil.
I wish he would have stopped at just he doesn't believe in raising taxes that high. If he
of course he wasn't going to stop there.
Stop there, that would have been good.
Something I noticed is in every government body, they always budget for... Their budgets are always way more than they would ever need.
Mm-hmm.
it's always like inflated.
Yes.
And you're always questioning, what are they going to be purchasing that is going to require that amount? And I guarantee you they probably don't even meet the budget cap. Ever.
Sometimes.
They probably don't. They probably have money left over.
A lot of times they do. You'll see you'll see if you read the budget, it'll tell you what they budgeted last year, what they actually spent, and the difference. And a lot of times they don't spend all of it.
I don't know if they do that because they're worried. They want like a buffer, you know?
Well, that's what 2 said. Councilmember 2 said we need a cushion, is what she called it. So anyway, the budget passed. I'm not quite sure why Quintanilla spoke up about the tax rate during the budget. Oh, interestingly, Councilmember Kerr abstained from the budget vote.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He didn't say why.
He did not speak at all.
No. He didn't say why he was abstaining. Very interesting.
Okay. That's something to ask, I guess.
Yes.
Did you ever run into him?
Mm-hmm. I heard it was because he had a conflict of interest. How do you have a conflict of interest in the city budget?
I don't know.
A source has told me. Okay. So, next, the tax rate. So, the Councilwoman 2, she said she proposed a higher tax rate because of SB 10. That's the bill that was in the second special session that would have really reduced the maximum they could raise your taxes. But as we went over last week, the bill didn't pass. So she was talking to Vidal, I guess, and she said she took to heart what he said, and she proposes a lower tax rate. It's still going to be an increase. So she said she would like to propose 0.4376 cents. So she went down almost a penny and a half.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the extra penny.
It's still going to be a 4.3% increase in the rate. And Councilmember Homer, she agreed, and no one else said a darn thing.
This has got to be the quietest council ever.
I honestly want to know how these people got elected. Because when they do speak, first of all, they're very cold. They've got no charisma. And in politics, a lot of politics is charisma. And they don't say anything. They don't say boo. So that tax rate of 0.4376 cents passed.
I don't understand. Are they afraid they're going to say something that will piss people off? I mean, you're in politics. You're going to piss somebody off.
I don't know.
If you're in the public eye, you're going to piss somebody off. You can't not. I mean, are they scared to open their mouths because they're afraid they're going to say something dumb?
Well, maybe. I
mean, people elected you to represent them, to speak. That was the whole reason you were elected.
And, you know...
By not speaking, you are betraying the reason you were elected.
And I think they have to
You're betraying your voters.
Yes. And I think they also need to learn that people are watching the meetings. They don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know what questions you ask staff, what answers you got. The only time they would know this is when you're sitting there making your vote. And if you're coming there with an open mind, because, they can't really talk to one another. They can only talk to 4 people. That's it. They can't have what's called a walking quorum, where one person will talk to Maria, and then Maria will talk to somebody else, and then somebody else. They can't do that. It's got to be, if they're going to be in the same room together and it's not a council meeting, it can only be 4 of them at the same time, and they really can only talk to 4 council people. And those council people can't talk to other council people. So Shelby used to say, I usually don't, if there's an issue I'm wrestling with or I'm really against, and I need to persuade somebody, I know I'm not going to go and talk to Anthony about it because him and I are usually on the same wavelength. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to Casey, or I'm going to talk to the mayor.
Who you need to sway more.
Yeah, who you think is going to be on the fence. So the only time they even get to talk to one another, supposedly, is executive session and their meetings. And people don't know what's in your heads. So Carr should have said, I have to abstain, I have a conflict of interest. He should have said that at the meeting.
Instead of abstaining, and then everybody's wondering why.
Exactly. Why did you abstain? Tell people why you're going to vote that way. Yeah, I know it's late and you want to get out of there, but...
And again, I'm going to bring up the retreat. At the retreat, they talked about that. They talked about, during the meetings, speak your mind and tell and say why you're voting a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing that.
No, they're not.
That's really interesting, because that's something they talked about at the retreat, at their training, and that's kind of out the window.
The people who talk to most are the veterans who have been on council. Now, maybe they just need to warm up a little bit.
I don't know what they're so afraid of.
But they aren't saying much. Here's another interesting thing that happened. So this happened in the preliminary open meeting, which was very short. I think it was all of 5 minutes. So the mayor, at every preliminary open meeting, he has an agenda item, items for future discussion on agendas. Because again, they can't talk to each other about anything outside of that meeting. So he will ask at that time, is there anything that council members want to put on a future agenda? So Maria, too, says...
I feel like she's the only one who talks during these meetings anymore.
She's usually the most talkative. So she said she wants to put on the next agenda item a pay raise for council.
What?
Mm-hmm. Look into increasing the salary of the council members.
For a job not paying enough anymore? She's not doing so hot?
No, she's a lawyer.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because, is she not getting enough clients?
Yeah. She says, well, I've been on council now. I think she's been on there for 6 years, and we haven't gotten a raise. Seriously? You are not doing this for the money. Because if you are, you need to go and get another job, okay? This is not going to pay your bills.
Now I'm really wondering if she's not getting enough clients. You're struggling too? Is the lawyer business not doing you so well?
She gets they get a small stipend. I think it's about $1,000 each. Okay. And then And I think it's based on each council meeting you go to. So if you miss a council meeting, you don't get paid, which is like a lot of actual real jobs. You don't show up for work, you don't get paid. So that's one. Then, of course, they get the dinners. Then they get the clothing allowance.
This all just reminds me how, especially too, it seems like they treat this and they view this as a business, as a corporation, when that's not what this is.
I think they need to view this as they are volunteers. They are elected and they are volunteering. You are not here for a paycheck. All right? This is not your full-time job.
Now you're given some for some compensation or whatever. I still don't fully understand why we do that, aside from the fact that it's a law that you have to.
Yeah.
But so you're giving it for some sort of compensation. But that's all it is. At the end of the day, you chose this because you wanted to serve your representatives.
Yeah. I mean, it's just tone deaf. It really is tone deaf.
You don't need a raise. I mean, especially she is termed out. This is her last term.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
why are you asking for a raise now?
I don't know. It's very, very tone deaf. I mean, you're just raising...
You're going to be out of there in...
You're raising people's taxes.
The next city council election?
Yeah. You're going to raise people's taxes and then you're like, give me more money? Yeah, no. Thank you.
It just screams of selfishness.
It is. It is. I mean, everything is going up and you want to raise.
It screams of selfishness and more proof of viewing this as a corporation. I just keep seeing that theme.
Yeah. And she's on the board. And she wants to get compensated. Let us go on to our very important dog, Mr. Zeusy.
It's still Zeus?
It is still Zeus.
Poor boy.
I know.
Well, Zeus is a very friendly boy. He's about 5 years of age. If he keeps being on this, it's going to turn to 6. He's a smart dog who will make a great companion for you. He's a playful dog who was never cleaned by his owner. And one of his eyes has a genetic defect, but it doesn't slow him down. He's an active and sweet boy who really wants a new home. Really, 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 really wants a new home. He's so affectionate, and just a sweet little love bug. So please, if you want a dog, or if you know somebody who wants a dog, check out our link at planospoliticalpitbull.com. There's a link there to
click on
that will direct you to Plano.
They pay the Pet Finder.
The Pet Finder page.
Pet Finder page for Zeus.
And you can check them out.
Yes. So that is all for us, folks. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is Esther.
This is Ruth.
For Plano's Political Pitbull, signing off.